Your current paradigm will break down. Down, down, down. In 12 years, all your currency will be followed and amateur porn. All nations are online. You will all be assigned a URL. Of the internet will battle for influence and likes. Only those who survive until they're 25 will return. Many will burn. I've used all my outrage points to reach you before it's too late. In a year or two, you must stop the review that starts it all. Art will fall.
You could use a little to make me feel alright. You play me like a fiddle. Though I'm so big mistake, I really need to hear some.
Good night, Twitch. How you doing? Having a quick late night
Don't forget to subscribe.
fun.
Smash.
Let's start this up, shall we?
Don't forget to subscribe. Smash.
Nice.
Reply. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash. Reply. Don't forget to subscribe.
And I forget to.
Don't forget to subscribe. Smash. Reply. Don't forget to subscribe.
Also, we have some light over here. Hey,
Reply. Don't forget to subscribe.
I'm back. How you doing, Twitch? How you doing? I'm doing all right, like the song says. Having a late night stream just to have some fun. I wanted to try something. Try something late night. Just 1 hour or 2, maybe 3. We will see. We will see. So usually I'm not here. Usually at this time on a Wednesday. But oh, let's see this. Yep. But the things to watch, let's watch them, shall we? Propaganda. So Ash posted this. The new Counter-Strike 2. Let's watch it. Shall we?
With over 20 years of history, maps are a fundamental pillar of Counter-Strike.
You.
And in Counter-Strike 2, maps are getting
I
a new
started
look.
Playing
But don't worry.
video
You can
games
still
with
bring along
Counter-Strike.
your countless hours honing strategies and exploiting every corner and crevice.
I
We took
haven't
three
played in
approaches to
years.
improving maps while retaining their
Years.
rich legacy. First, there are touchstone maps. Classic maps with solid foundations that players can use to evaluate gameplay changes from CSGO to Counter-Strike 2. These have improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't been changed.
Where's the map that it looked like a temple?
Next, we have upgrades. These are maps that use
Doesn't
new
exist
Source
anymore?
2 lighting, including a physically based rendering system that produces realistic materials, lighting, and reflections.
Ah, there we go.
And finally, overhauls. The oldest maps have been fully rebuilt from the ground up, leveraging all of the Source 2 tools and rendering features. These tools will be available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate.
Oh, you can make maps? Cool.
With upgrades to lighting, player read, and materials in Counter-Strike 2, even the familiar will feel brand new.
Bomb planted. I don't know. Summer?
Hey there, buds. Some people claim that there's a cheater in every single lobby, and others declare they've never been killed by a cheater. The truth is most likely somewhere in the middle. But how can you know? If the game developer knew, they'd ban them. And if a game doesn't have a replay system, which Escape from Tarkov does not have, how does a player know how bad it is? So I came up with a plan to answer this question once and for all. The plan. Number 1, we will find a cheater. This should not be difficult. This is Escape from Tarkov we're talking about here. Number 2, we will spectate said cheater, and we will observe their gameplay using their ESP. Number 3,
We will find the cheater overlord and we will destroy them.
whoa, easy Tiger, got a little overzealous there. Number 3, we will figure out how many cheaters there are in every Tarkov raid using the cheater's ESP knowledge. Let's go do it. Before we get into the footage, I want to throw this disclaimer in here. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that if you watch this video, it will change the way you look at first-person shooters, especially games like Escape from Tarkov, forever. If you enjoy playing Escape from Tarkov,
I
you're
don't play
having a great time, keep playing the game,
Tarkov.
and it may not be a bad idea just to not watch this video. But if you're frustrated with the cheating situation and you want to know how bad it is, this is the video for you. The game
Yay.
developers are most likely going to copyright
I wanna
strike
know,
and
I
try
wanna
take down
know.
this video. If that occurs, I have a video ready to go. It doesn't contain any game footage, and I will put it up immediately. And if this video is still up on YouTube, you can try to make a copy of it and download it. I'm not going to go into details there. I'm sure you know how to use Google. Now back to the video. Step 1, we need to find a cheater. This was not hard.
It is his arm. Okay.
Just look at these metrics. There are over 1,000 people online right now in this Discord, and you don't even need to be in the Discord to get the cheats. They have
Damn.
sales, and check out this. In early
They have
February, they had
sales.
4,000 concurrent users connecting to the servers at one time. And this is just one cheat developer of many. And while there are plenty of cheaters in these Discords, I need to find
Damn.
someone that I actually trust. Do you remember Evoker? He was the cheater I interviewed and shadowed in my video, Messy Truth About Hacking in Video Games. He has some pretty fancy cheats that would be very useful to collect the information I needed. And even though I vowed to keep him anonymous, he knew that the cheat devs could figure out if he was the one who leaked the footage. Evoker was more worried about getting caught by the cheat developer than the game developer. Let that sink in. The cheat developers are more careful and restrictive with their software than the game
Then
developer.
the game developer.
Evoker was out. So I took matters into my own hands and installed some cheats. And 5 minutes later, I was
Yeah.
a real hacker. Okay, that was easy. But
Let's
before
go.
we go on this cheater catching rampage, we need to set some ground rules. Number 1, fresh account. I'm not playing on my main account. Number 2, no killing PMCs, even if I think they're cheating. Number 3, no transferring of loot, no boosting, and no playing with anyone else. And number 4, after a few days of testing, reset the account. So this is the start of a normal match in Escape from Tarkov. It's a night raid, so it's harder to spot players, unless you flip on ESP. You can see the player's level, kill to death ratio, their distance, what gun they have out, how much ammo they have, their hitbox or skeleton, everything with this cheat. And this isn't even a really good one. In addition to that, you have radar down in the bottom right-hand corner. It shows everything, including the AI bots. This is going to be really nice when we're seeing if another player is tracking us through walls, because you can see what direction they're looking with the little arrows. I witnessed a player with a high KD drop someone on the way in. I plan to creep up and just see what he does. And while I creep up, this other player surprises me. Yes, even with ESP and radar, you can still get surprised. I follow my rule and let the PMC kill me. I can't tell you how many raids this happened in. Was the guy cheating? I have no evidence whatsoever. As far as I can tell, this was just a normal raid. In this next raid, I decided to investigate
Huh? I know.
what he does. And while I creep up,
No, it's
this
just,
other player
I'm
surprises
silent.
me. Yes,
So,
even with
I'm watching a
ESP and
video.
radar, you can still get surprised. I follow my rule and let the PMC kill me. I can't tell you how many raids this happened. in.
The one
Was the guy
that I
cheating?
posted,
I have no
I
evidence
cheated
whatsoever. As far as I can tell, this was just a normal raid.
about Tarkov cheating and how badly the community, the cheating community is implemented in Tarkov. Like really bad. I saw part of it earlier, but I'm rewatching because I saw part of it earlier.
In this next raid, I decided to investigate this big team fight that was going down. A few players had already died. That's what that white default inventory text is. I gave them several opportunities to get spooked. I even jumped up in this tree to really test them. And nothing. A player scav rolled up and I decided to have a little fun. And yeah, I'm using a voice changer. On the first day of testing, I actually thought I was going to come back to Tarkov. And I didn't want to get recognized in game. More on that later.
Don't shoot, okay? We cool? Come over to the tree, come over to the tree.
Yeah, I see. I see him.
Yeah, there's two.
It's painfully clear that these two Chads are legit. How refreshing.
Whoa, don't shoot!
We have a fun little interaction and we go our separate ways.
I saw you looting, you guys were standing still. I could have popped you in the head. I made a pact not to kill PMCs. I'm kind of doing a quest.
Okay. So you guys don't want to loot Krakos, right? You guys can just pass through. How about that?
Okay, I'm gonna go through the big wall. Hey, no, don't flank me, just leave me alone!
A player scav? Why are you teaming up with a player scav?
Listen, man, I'm not telling you what to do with your life.
Fair enough.
I thought maybe things aren't that bad. However, I didn't really have a solid plan to determine if someone was cheating or not. How can you know? I load into a night raid and I look around the map and I decide to check out this low-level, high KD player. I roll up, glance down at the radar, and he locks onto my position. He lies down. Is this my first cheater? Did I find one? No, He's literally just AFK. Raid after raid, nothing. It honestly was pretty boring. But then I discovered a secret weapon.
The
The
wiggle.
wiggle. And the wiggle was all I needed.
It's in the title. The wiggle that killed Tarkov. The wiggle.
I can't believe it. 2 legit players showed up, and I watched the cheater destroy them.
Watching the wiggle video.
I went to the roof to see what he would do.
Well,
He
we're
was stuck in a
watching.
healing animation.
I'm like spazzing out right now.
I want to
like,
watch
Can you
the end.
use your gun?
Even
restarted
cheaters can
it.
get Tarkoved.
No.
Another player rolled up, and I died to him. And if you question if that wiggle was completely random, he sent me a message in game after the fact. Cheaters change their names all the time. The next day, he had already changed his. What's so brilliant about the wiggle is that it shows the other hacker that
Damn.
might cheat. If they respond to it by wiggling back,
I have a
Yes.
prismatic
it confirms
ore.
that they have ESP.
It's so,
And that's what I
and I'm
wanted.
not a jewel
I wanted them
crafter.
to show
What
their...
in the hell am I supposed to do with this piece of shit?
Van der
You
Rich.
can't read it. It's not, do I just delete it? Is there nothing?
There's nothing.
I guess
no.
there's nothing, yeah.
I don't think
Damn
so.
it.
I don't know if you can do a
Oh,
prospect.
Look it up on
crafting
see if they
order?
give you
Yeah.
any suggestions.
The latest comment is literally somebody asking the same thing.
Put in a work order
In the
for
hacking
whatever the
community,
curio it
a
makes
wiggle
is.
is a form of a
I
don't think you can.
peace
Something to
offering.
prospect.
Armed with
I
this
don't
new
It's something
information,
to
I went back
prospect,
into Raid to
man.
track down another cheater.
disenchant thing.
The ESP tells you who is on a team.
Oh,
and here we have
it,
team 1 and
I'm
team
being
2.
muted. Yeah, it's something to prospect. After getting 5 of them, you prospect them.
I guess just
Unless
render
you
it.
put a crafting order, it's not possible.
Oh.
Yeah, delete it. Shouldn't be getting those. You're not supposed to be
Friend,
having those.
Don't tell me how to live my life, Melty. No, I killed the jewel crafting boss in Drag.
Oh, and they
Forbidden
gave it
Reach,
to
and
you.
That's why I got one. Yeah. I didn't hack the system, Melty. Any super kernel override.
And I figured
No
I could
hacking.
find out if the winner was
Yeah,
legit or
I
not. Team 1 gets third
The
party,
game
but
just
handles
is
the threat
stupid on
quickly.
its own.
Kill them.
Giving me shit I can't.
But
do.
it is
Look how much
intense,
they
dude.
backed off.
I
They're
mean,
not even fighting over their
until
friends' bodies
he
anymore.
found the wiggle to notice the hackers, he couldn't see them. But once he got the wiggle, he saw the hackers in every single game. So it's kind of intense. Wiggle. I'm gonna wiggle everywhere in
Wiggle,
games.
wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Form
Wiggle,
of
wiggle.
a truce, a peace offering. Armed with this new information, I went back into Raid to track down another cheater. The ESP tells you who is on a team, and here we have Team 1 and Team 2. And I figured I could find out if the winner was legit or not. Team 1 gets third party, but handles the threat quickly. Killed them. The Team 2 guys, look how much they backed off. They're
Come
not even
on.
fighting over their friends' bodies anymore. They're just back here sitting in the gas
Yeah,
station. What
they
are
don't
doing?
give a
It's so bizarre.
fuck.
You see that happen. You've seen it happen a few times, right?
That's why for the channel, Kel you're hearing. She plays Tarkov as well. We speculated it was possible that both teams might have someone who's not legit. When
Saj,
the ESP turns red,
Yeah, what's
it
up?
means there is a
I'm gonna
direct
tell you
line of sight to
something,
the
and
target.
you're not
I
gonna
tested Team
believe
1
it,
several times, and
but it's
this
true.
guy's not watching his
Okay.
ESP, he is hacking.
Yeah.
I was pretty confident they're
I
not
went-
cheating. I needed to stay close to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, this is where I started watching.
They can't jump this wall right here and kill me if they...
I was gonna say you get so
Suspect me,
close
but-
up in this stuff.
Team 2 loses another player in the fight, and the last man surviving heads to the extract, which was a wise move. The dust settles, and I try the wiggle. Oh, he's wiggling, look.
Oh,
Nice.
that?
yep.
Awesome.
Does that mean the whole
He took
team?
out his rebel. He took out his right rebel.
Does that mean the whole team is cheating if he's doing that?
Let's see what happens when I come over. This guy takes a few pop shots at me, and I let the cheaters take care of him. That scav up there lit me up.
Do your voice changer.
Oh, that's scam?
Yeah, dude. Up on the hill. He lit. Unless what you shot at me, I don't think you did.
No, we were shooting at that scav up there, if that's him.
Wait, he shot me through the barbed wire.
He's just a better player, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be careful. You need anything?
Nah, man, I'm good. That was very difficult to figure out that those guys were hacking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He took out his red
just
rebel the
think-
second I took out my red.
Yep. Yep. That whole team.
100% cheating.
That whole team.
That whole team. Sometimes I would just antagonize
Surprising,
a
they're
cheater
very
with the
civil-
wiggle to get them to
they're very
rage hack on them,
civilized.
and it works.
I mean, they have a sense of community between the hackers. Between cheaters. And look, we're using the same thing. Wiggle, wiggle.
I know this guy's getting so annoyed. He's trying to avoid me, but you're only level 11. I can keep up with you, buddy.
Hello there, sir. Hello there, sir. Whoa.
Yep, yep.
He just deleted that level 52. All right.
Damn. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's cheating.
Hey there, bro. Wow.
I found it
Insta
quite
shot.
common that cheaters
Insta
ran in
dead.
groups. Their KDs are extremely high, in the top 1%.
Mm-hmm. 10.
And
12.
after this guy gets this insane nade kill, I sneak up on their position. It should be noted that I am not overweight, and I make sure to silent crouch walk, not hitting bushes, etc. It makes no sense that he would lock onto my position here. He sidesteps left and right, and I track him to show them that I'm watching.
He's
He
not
knows I have
doing it.
ESP, and he doesn't like it.
No. He's not
What are you gonna
wiggling.
do? Show
Are
me
you
your
wiggling?
hand.
Wiggle,
His
wiggle.
buddy's moving in to help him out.
Wiggle,
They
wiggle,
assume I'm gonna
motherfucker.
just like aimbot him, I bet. He must have the Grenadier task or something because he's looking for nades to throw at me. And before I make any noise, they just start talking.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. I have a starting pistol out. I don't have any ammo. You got whoa.
I set my sights on this very high KD player. He had just
We killed
dropped somebody.
the witness.
I approach carefully. He notices I'm getting close, and look how precise his lock is on the radar.
Damn, he's on top of him. Yeah.
Sometimes
go.
I'd run into a cheater on the way to another cheater. He snaps to me as I get close. He closes the door. And the wiggle. It surprises me every time. And once I developed the strategy and started investigating more people in every single raid, the cheaters were everywhere.
At first
The
you didn't
KDF2
see
was
them,
good,
and
but
then
it's not that good.
it's everywhere.
This has got to be so annoying from their perspective.
Yeah.
They don't want to react, but they have to. I keep pestering with the wiggle. They know I cheat. They know I have ESP now. If you're not familiar with how Escape from Tarkov works, you don't make sound when you silent crouch walk underweight like this. This is the most lawyer reaction a cheater can have. It's like he's saying, I know, but I'm not going to let it be known that I know. There's literally no reason for him to be standing over here looking at my exact angle. I hadn't made any noise. This weird standoff continued for a while.
Alright, man. Well, good luck.
I try to leave and he sort of holds me up. I gotta give the guy credit though. He's being a lot more subtle than most people in this video. I was expecting to die right here, but maybe he's like me and he just has ESP and no aimbot. I had no idea what this guy was gonna do next.
Whoa, bro. Hey, man. I'm backing off, bro. I have a knife. What's up?
And you can see it on the bottom, the other guy aiming.
And who are you fooling with the fake TTV name?
Alright, cool. Alright, cool. Listen, dude, I'm not trying to, like, fuck with you. I just was saying hi. Just doing the wiggle, you know? If you're saying anything, I can't hear you. Just letting you know. Is your buddy cool? Whoa. We're cool. You want me to leave or hang out?
We're cool.
Okay, alright, cool.
I'd been pestering this guy for about 3 minutes, slowly creeping up. And I finally pushed him to his limit. And don't forget about Radar. Just look at how locked on he is.
Yeah. He knows who you are.
Yeah, okay, bud. I'd already gotten these guys to wiggle, but I wasn't recording. You gotta give me a break, though, man. I've had a bad cold. I cannot believe I wasn't recording.
Oh, no.
I'm usually good about it, but I went to go get a drink while I was loading in, and I usually hit the recording.
Messed up your flow.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Fighting or are we friendly?
Oh, dude, I'm friendly. I'm friendly. You gotta respect the wiggle, dude. Hell yeah, man.
What you got going on, man? Why are you just hanging out with a knife?
And I wonder how they know I have my knife out. How are they missing this much?
Because they're not good at the game. That's why they have the download cheats.
Yeah.
That was not appreciated.
Yeah, just come around to the garage.
I feel like you're gonna kill me.
You're not in a position to negotiate, my man. Sounds like you're not doing so
Alright, I
good.
guess I'll come.
And this doesn't break the rule, but this is the closest thing I did to killing a player. Sounds like you don't have much time, brother.
No, I don't.
You better hurry.
Scab though, so I bet you feel really good.
No, come over here and I'll give you heals, but you're the one that's not coming over here. I'm not even the one that shot at you. I felt bad for this guy, but I needed to stay undercover. You gotta get in here, brother. Oh my god, his health is... he's not gonna make it. Come on in, come on in, come on in. He's gonna die before.
Mm-hmm. What's his health at?
4, 3,
3,
Get
2.
over here, get over here. Get the cover, get the cover. Alright, I'm gonna drop it on the ground for you. I was watching his health tick down and I was like, he's not gonna make it. This is gonna be so funny.
That's funny shit.
See, I've earned these guys' trust, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, I wasn't gonna kill this Scav, and he could have just popped me right there. Most hackers won't wiggle back, but it doesn't matter. The wiggle still works. They know I have ESP. Don't forget to check the radar in the bottom right during this interaction.
Yep.
Even though I have my knife out, he's worried about me. He's tracking me this whole way around. When you're playing against normal players, they don't ever look at you like this on the radar. Up until this point, you could argue some of this could just be chance. Maybe he thought he saw something at my location and he's watching like a hawk. But it's starting to become very obvious. And I want to seal the deal in this interaction. Are you back, Travis? This guy's 100% cheating. He won't wiggle at me, but he's doing everything. Just basically tracked me in a big circle. Like he's turning back looking directly at me. Look at this. That's my friend Travis. He was watching me record some of these raids live. He's been in several of my shorts. I'm gonna get him to rage on me. Just pop me in the head like he's gonna pop me in the head the second I show anything. You ready? Call it!
He was right.
Let's watch this back in slow motion. He shot me through the bush without an actual sight line. The server had a bit of lag and placed the def behind solid cover. In this raid, I was tracking down a rager, and en route to his position, he was dead. It turns out he got killed by a different hacker. A legit player rolls through, and the cheater is holding an angle. Geez, I wonder who's gonna win this fight. He gets the kill, of course.
Of course.
Let's see if he'll respond to the wiggle.
Come on. He did. There you go.
Confirmation. I got my knife though.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Peace. I just saying peace. Nice kill. I don't know why I told him nice kill.
Yeah.
You got that guy with like that guy earlier. What was his KD? Oh shit. I'm always trying to get them to verbally confirm that they're cheating.
Huh?
What was that other guy's? That guy was raging, the other guy, right?
It was like 15, bro.
Dude. Yeah.
Mine's high too, but I gotta lower it.
Yeah. That's all good either way. So is a cherry on top when you get the verbal confirmation of cheating. He admitted to knowing the KD of the guy he killed. There's a single bot follower scav still alive. That means a rare boss spawned on the map and there's only one guard left. You ever wonder why it's so hard to get boss kills sometimes? The cheaters will get to them first, and they don't want you near it. Oh, this guy's raging. Jesus Christ, that guy was raging. Watching the radar really seals the deal on this clip. Check this out.
There's a tree between us.
Oh, he doesn't even...
This kind of works out.
Holy crap.
You can't argue with the wiggle. It's the closest thing to 100% confirmation, and I got better at identifying the cheaters. I would sometimes find them in back-to-back raids. One night, I ran into cheaters 5 raids in a row. I would love to share some stats with you. In my 125 raids, I never ran into a fly hacker. I had 0 raids with the Stanky Leg invincibility hack. I never ran into anyone speed hacking. And it was actually quite rare that I got aimbot or rage hacked. There were obvious cheaters in about 60% of my raids. The best predictor that a cheater would be in your raid is one simple thing: the number of people in the lobby. If a lobby had more people or was near full, it is almost guaranteed that a cheater is in your raid. Sometimes players would just avoid me and I couldn't really test them. I only reached level 13, so it's not like I was able to outrun and catch up to anybody who really wanted to evade me. The time of day matters. At nighttime, I encountered more cheaters than early morning or midday. It's reasonable to assume that I missed many closet ESPers. I was only able to investigate a handful of people in every single raid. Often I would die to a PMC, or a sniper scav would give me away, or something would happen that would prevent me from investigating more people in the raid. So while I would try to get around and check out as many people as I could, it's just impossible. Even though I literally confirmed 60% of my raids had a cheater in them, the actual number has to be higher. There's a lot more that I'd like to cover in this video. All of the various discoveries I made about how cheaters act, some of the sussy interactions that I couldn't 100% validate as a cheater, including someone who was streaming live, and much more, such as the difficulty of getting past the stream-proof feature of the ESP. Very difficult to actually record the footage. And what's the actual solution to the problem? And why is it so bad recently? And I'd love to do a follow-up answering all these questions, as well as responding to the comments and the feedback that I'm inevitably going to get. I'm going to end this video with an interview. I hope you enjoy. This is Luke. You may know him as the co-founder of Linus Media Group and the current COO of Floatplane Media. And he's an avid Tarkov player. And I showed him most of these clips before the release of this video. There was this gasp of just, oh my God. This happened to me when I came across the first cheater. It happened to my buddy Travis when he was watching me play. He had watched me live while I was recording. And it happened to Kelly when she was shadowing me. And it happened to you too. I heard it from you when you saw the wiggle. And tell me how that felt. What were you feeling in that moment?
It hurt, man. It hurt for like reasons that are almost hard to explain too, because like the wiggle specifically being the tool that they use to identify fellow jackasses is so frustrating, because the wiggle was something that the Tarkov community as a whole had used to capture this part of the game which was not fighting each other, which was always so
it was
rare,
friendly handshake,
right? And now it's just tainted in this
it's the
way.
hacker handshake.
And when you're watching it happen, you're seeing Adam stare at someone through walls with ESP, and you're just hoping the whole time. You know they're staring right at him. You know it's weird that they're staring right at him, but you're hoping. You're like, don't wiggle, right? Because you've heard that it's going to happen. And then when it does happen, I think just
every single time
hope just dissolves, because when it's that prevalent, like, what do you do? I don't know. And you know that something must be common if there's a culture that's been built around it. And when you're talking about how people say like, oh, thanks for respecting the wiggle, that just makes it so that you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is a thing that happens all the time. So that means that there are cheaters running into each other all the time, which means that they're extremely populous.
Yeah, and the idea that the cheaters would group up and team up together against the legit players as if it's a red versus blue, a us versus them situation.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like I was impersonating a cheater in role playing. I mean, I'm doing investigative journalism, right? I'm acting. I told this guy, nice kill one time, and I like cringed inside. I was like, why did I say that? But I was trying to come up with something to like connect with them, and it felt like nasty almost, but it worked. And these guys would kind of open up to you sometimes. The guy asked me to friend him afterwards, you know?
I have never once had someone ask me to friend them afterwards. And like, it wouldn't be that hard to tell someone your gamer tag through voice. It just never happens. And then it seemed so common in your raids. So they're clearly teaming up. So not only is cheating enough, but they have to work together, which is...
They're working together.
Just getting mad.
Not they have to. They're working together. They have a community.
A game unlike
they talk to
a
each
lot of
other.
other games. And one of the things that's special about it is you tend to value your life in this game. I remember when the Modern Warfare playtest or the beta went live, the recent one, and I found myself. I had just finished a Tarkov session and I started playing it. And I ended up playing, you know, some game mode. And I was just like, I just don't care whether I die or not. You know, I just don't care. Like, I want to win. It's fun getting kills and getting more points. But it's missing that sadness factor when you lose. And when you win, you don't feel like you won much. And Tarkov is not like that. And why do you think cheating is so much of a bigger deal in a game like Tarkov?
I played Eve for many years. It feels similar to Eve, where I think even more so in Tarkov, but with Eve and Tarkov, not only do you lose everything that you have when you die, but the things that you have are highly customized to how you like to play. Now in Eve, you don't customize the individual components, you just customize what individual components are on your ship. And it's very easy to just rebuy all the stuff that you previously had using I don't think it's actually called a blueprint, but using what I'm going to call a blueprint. It's been a long time. In Tarkov, you can technically save a loadout for a firearm, but I think the amount of people that use that is not actually going to be that high. It's mostly streamers. So you have people that have taken a gun into a few different raids and maybe added some attachments to it along the way, customizing it, changing colors on it to make it like look cooler, or might not on that a piece of
that's interesting
life, unfortunately. I think anybody who's reasonable understands that, but there's
everything
certainly
else
an
is just
acceptable
the interview
amount. And that's different for everyone. Hey there, buds. The question you've all been asking is, was I banned? And the answer is no.
Yes?
And yes.
So you were saying there's like a big Tarkov creator that like cheated to find cheaters or something like that? Like cheated for science?
That is not public yet because that video is not out.
But first, I want to tell you how the video got kicked off and why I think it went so viral. My initial plan was to release the video on Saturday afternoon.
It's a good video.
But after Linus and Luke were talking about this whole story
showing
on the WAN show
a couple
live
of nice
Friday
things.
night, I decided to publish it around like 9 p.m. on a Friday night, which typically is not a good idea for a YouTube video. And it was a happy accident because without the backing of Luke and Linus, I really think this video could have been copyright striked and shot down really early on in the process, which is what the Tarkov subreddit attempted to do. But it was clear to me and virtually everyone else that everyone wanted to see the video, discuss its implications, and look for solutions. But the Tarkov subreddit went on a ban spree, and the community was not happy about it. And if you're wondering, yes, I personally am still banned from the subreddit. And Luke pulled a really smart move. He linked a video to the WAN show with no reference to my video. And for context, the WAN show was filmed and went live before my video was released. And they locked the thread. And even after the Reddit mods locked the thread, the link to the WAN show maintained a #1 slot for most of the rest of the day. And even though I did have a backup plan, I don't know how successful it would have been without the support from the WAN show, and for that, I am truly grateful. A lot of people don't realize this, but after chat pestered Landmark for several hours, he did in fact watch the video on stream. He had a critical eye, but he did watch it. And a few hours later, Lyric, Summit, and Pestily and everyone else weighed in, and the momentum started growing rapidly. I can't tell you how incredible it is to see the community come together despite everything stacked against us. Just look at the like to dislike ratio on this video. This video is not controversial for the vast majority of people in the community. And I'm not going to respond to haters in this video directly, but what I will say is this. I haven't been surprised where people stand on this video. The creators that I look up to and respect in this community have had very reasonable takes. But why did the video do so well? And why did it resonate with so many people in the community? And why was it so negatively received by some of the Tarkov creators in this space? I believe the main reason why the video did so well is it was released during a perfect storm to a disenfranchised community. People want to be heard. They don't want major problems to be swept under the rug. Everyone knows the hacking problem is out of control. The Tarkov community was in the process of imploding already. This video...
I'm watching the aftermath video of the other one that I was watching earlier. And it seems that it had mixed reviews in the community. I wonder why.
Video was just the final straw. And even though almost all of my critics have interviewed cheaters and cheat developers and made videos about how bad the cheating is, none of them actually showed us in a compelling way how bad it was. Chinese man executed for standing in front of tank.
I haven't heard anything about Tarkov in a while.
And I can tell you about it. But there's a reason that this image is one of the most viewed images of all time. And if you think storytelling and imagery isn't powerful and important, you're as delusional as the people who say cheating isn't a problem in Tarkov. You think journalists want to be standing in a war zone? No, but we need to hear the gunshots. We need to see the troops crossing the border with our own eyes. The wiggle is insane. Anyone who watched that video knows what I'm talking about. I'm literally getting goosebumps right now talking about this. And lastly, I think this video did well because people realized I was genuine. I'm completely honest with you guys. I accepted the fact that I was likely going to be ostracized from the community, hardware ban, copyright strike, prevented from streaming and playing this game ever again. Many people advised me to not admit to cheating. And I said, fuck that. I don't think many creators in this space would stand up to BSG in this way, but it wasn't about me. The reason it's called The Video and not The Video is because it's bigger than me. It's not about me. And I think creators who saw my video and not the video were the most critical. And we all know who they are now. And if you're a hater and you're watching this, it's okay. I forgive you, it doesn't bother me. But what I do ask is I ask you to help support us in finding the solution. And at the very least, stop naysaying this incredible...
It doesn't name the people they're mad that he showed this, so I feel it sucks because I don't know the Tarkov streamers and community, so I want names.
There's only one streamer that I know that like is dedicated Tarkov streamer, and I don't believe she cheats to any extent. Her name is she goes by Nyx, but it's short for Nyxia. And she's an exceptionally skilled Tarkov player. And she's the only person that I'm in her Discord. I don't particularly watch her stream all the time, but whenever she is live, she's usually streaming Tarkov.
Did you watch this? Probably. It's a month ago, so it's old news kind of a thing. Maybe there's a commentary on it.
Effort. If I could only talk about one thing in this video, it would be the solution, a fix. Tarkov is an amazingly good game to cheat in. Tarkov gives people the opportunity to destroy people's time and experience in such a devastating way. They can feel like a god in a very difficult game. They can play this cat and mouse game with other cheaters in the lobby. It's truly a cheater's playground. And the lack of a replay system means in the process, you don't even have to pretend like you're playing legit. I'll tell you this, if any one of you had spectated one of those raids, you would hit the ban hammer immediately. And I didn't even shoot or kill a PMC or another player. And I thought about the implications of this video. Will the situation with cheating in Tarkov get worse because of this? Will more cheaters download cheats? Will legit players stop playing, increasing the percentage of cheaters in a lobby? And whose fault is that? And the truth is, it doesn't matter. Because the solution to
does
bringing
matter.
legit players back into the game and reducing the number of cheaters is the same. A better anti-cheat. And I must admit when I'm wrong. I did several interviews with some anti-cheat people last night, and I'm putting way too much weight on a replay system. A better anti-cheat is the primary solution to solving this problem. I had a private conversation with a anti-cheat developer, a competitor to BattlEye, and he wishes to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. And I asked him why, when I installed the cheats, it told me I had to uninstall Valorant, or else I would be detected by Valorant's system. You heard that right. Vanguard, which is Riot's proprietary anti-cheat system that they use for Valorant, will detect Escape from Tarkov cheats better than BattlEye. And so if you're going to cheat in Escape from Tarkov, you have to uninstall Valorant. Valorant is detecting cheats for other games better than the other games can detect them. So I asked some tough questions, and I wanted to dispel a few things here. First of all, there's not a fundamental issue with the game engine or the anti-cheat. We don't need to move to some different system to have a proper anti-cheat. It doesn't matter that Tarkov is built on Unity. Case in point, the cheats that I used, which have been undetected for over 2 years, can immediately be detected by Riot's Vanguard. And going over my notes here, he also dispelled the myth that more server-side authority is some ultimate solution. And sure, if a game was entirely server authoritative, it would be amazing. However, that's a pipe dream. There's no online game that can do that. And he gave me a few examples of other games that have limited the amount of client authority, and it does limit ESP to some extent, but ultimately it's not the end solution. The solution is a proper anti-cheat. If I had to summarize the conversation, there's nothing fundamentally broken with BattlEye or Tarkov that prevents an effective anti-cheat. And this was music to my ears, and we should be happy about this. The problem can be solved. So I asked him what he would do if he had a meeting with BSG and could do something now. And he said, for starters, implement these changes. Secure boot, TPM, HVCI, which is core isolation option in Microsoft Defenders, and this pre-boot IOMU. This is probably all technical gibber to most of you, including myself. But if you look into this, these are security features that Windows has implemented over the years. The cheaters bypass these security features, and the anti-cheat that Tarkov uses right now is not requiring them to be on. Here's some threads where hackers are basically getting owned by these Microsoft features. This hacker's complaining about how Microsoft's ruining all the fun by implementing all these security features. Security features that BattlEye is not taking advantage of right now. According to this source, simply implementing most of these features would eliminate probably 80% of all of the Tarkov cheats that exist right now. And for those of you worried about a Russian company having access to your computer, I get it. But do realize that BattlEye, the company that makes the anti-cheat that Tarkov uses, is based in Germany. So there's that. And this is just a start. I love to convince this guy to come on and have a real interview and have a great conversations. I think you guys will like that. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see that. And I was going to do a whole segment here talking about stats, and I was going to show you a spreadsheet and explain all the history behind everything. But essentially, it comes down to trust me, bro. Okay, I'm not an academic institution. I don't have peer review. I don't have an academic journal backing me up and investigating and auditing my whole process. You know, I could post all the raids, but how do you know they're all the raids? I could show you stats, but how do you know they're the real stats? So essentially, it comes down to trust me, bro. Luke suggested this, and I thought about uploading all of the raids. And the problem with that is, in the vast majority of raids, I can't with absolute certainty nail somebody down and call them a cheater. And I think inevitably what you're going to have is a witch hunt. As someone who got falsely banned during the motherboard serial number fiasco in 1212 years ago, I would hate for someone to get banned unjustly because people went after them. There were also many raids where I felt very confident that someone was cheating or doing something bad, but I don't want that footage out. For example, this guy with a very high KD, and a high level, ran to the middle of the map with a knife out and died to a scav. And I watched this happen, and I went over and I was like, what is going on here? And it turns out he was most likely probably using a bot to lower his KD, and I saw this several times. I don't feel comfortable posting those clips because while I do think it's cheating, it's just not 100% proof. You could come up with a lot of excuses and explain away a lot of these situations. I felt very confident about every clip I showed in the video, and my biggest regret is while I did have a bunch of people that I know shadow me during the process, I wish I'd involved other streamers and other content creators to just watch me do it live so they can experience what I was seeing and vouch for me, but it's too late now. And exactly how many cheaters there are, this comes down to an opinion. I'm not God. I'm not omniscient. I don't get this like UI pop-up that tells me, hey, there's a cheater in your raid. You have to ultimately trust my intuition. And what's really funny is no one's really arguing with my figure. I don't think anyone thinks my figure is out of this world crazy. In fact, I'm getting a lot of flack where people are saying, no, it's way higher, dude. Like, that's way too conservative. What I'd ask you is, do my results coincide with your experience?
Damn it.
And for the vast majority of people who watched the video, it did.
You're
not getting range tacked
just
all the
stop
time.
there
You're running
in
into people that are
Tarkov.
finding you in weird situations.
Every competitive,
and your game sense is
just a
just
little.
telling you that this is odd. And if you play Tarkov a lot, you don't dispute the figure. I will tell you this, the number I gave is a conservative estimate, and I do believe that most people believe it to be accurate. And at the end of the day, I think if I had just said in the video that it's worse than I thought and it's really bad, I think the reaction to the video would have been the exact same. The point of the video is this is a fucking problem, and I want to get everyone's attention on it, and getting into like the details about the exact number of raids and whether they're night and day, you're just missing the point. My estimate mirrors just about everyone's experience playing this game. And I keep getting emails and messages from cheat developers. No, I will not be doing interviews with you guys. Stop emailing me. If you are a cheater, get the fuck out of my Discord. I don't know why people think they want to come into my Discord if they're a cheater. I don't want to talk to you. I don't need any more information from you. And I pinned Pesley's comment for a reason. I do worry about copycats, and I loved hearing Lupo's take on this as well.
I think the video is good. I don't want anybody else to do this. People make this kind of video once every couple years. Pesley in the comments section, it's actually the pinned comment in there. This is probably the last time this needs to be done for a while, and I agree. Anybody else that goes through and makes a look at how bad cheating is video by cheating themselves is merely doing it for the additional views that come off of it.
And besides, guys, you can't repeat this. Everyone's freaking wiggling in every raid now. And for the status of my accounts, my main account is in fact not banned. Not banned. The account that I cheated on, yes. It was banned overnight. We woke up in the morning and the account that I cheated on was banned. And this was a decision that BSG intentionally made, and I actually applaud them for this. It would have been very easy for them to ban my main account. I use the same credit card, I stream on it, I don't hide it, I don't hide raid IDs, I don't hide my name. They intentionally made the decision to not ban my main account or not hardware ban me. And I don't fault them for banning the cheat account. I mean, I literally cheated on it. I said I cheated on it. My biggest regret is, why did I use an EOD account? Like, you know, what the fuck was I thinking? I made a decision to not blur my raid IDs. I made a decision to not blur any of the names in the video for transparency. And I knew that that was basically a death sentence to that Tarkov account. And I think BSG would get a lot of flack for not banning that account. But they aren't going after me. So, cool. However, the BSG response from Nikita himself with the copy pasta on Reddit was lackluster. And a lot of people have covered this. It's you know, it's the same old, same old. And in closing, I just want to speak to Nikita directly. You know, the copy pasta that you posted, it's just kind of bullshit, man. I mean, just be honest with us. Speak to us directly. Tell us what's going on. You know, all these content creators that you've gotten cozy with streamer items and Twitch drops and Sherpa programs and special advertisements on the launcher, it's all gone now, man. I mean, the curtain's been unveiled. Be honest with us. Tell us what's going on. Let's get this problem solved, and we'll have your back. This is Go, and I'll see you in the next video.
Good video. That was a good video. There's a lot of cheating in every single game, but a good video to watch on Tarkov. No different than the other video games, to be honest. Tarkov. It was nice to see him. Mostly to see, well, how do they communicate? The community, the aspect of, like he said, it's a cat and mouse situation, but there's only one. There's the cheaters and the 1 and 2 people that doesn't cheat. What's this? Here, let's watch this.
Can we all agree that Riot Forge kidnapped League's lore to make it better? So yeah, literally less than a day ago, League of...
Just right back, gonna put an end. You can give those pesky heads with a sub though. So I'm gonna run it now.
of Legends got a new comic as a lead-up to the Mage Seeker game by Riot Forge. And after reading it, it is very easy to say that this is the best comic League of Legends ever got. In case you don't know, in the past, Riot collabed with Marvel, and they released the Ashe comic, the Zed comic, and the Lux comic. Honestly, all of these are great. They are amazing ways to explore the lore of the champions without reading paragraphs. And still, somehow, the new one is on a whole different level. It links some champions in entire new ways. It also solves a really big mystery that is surrounding Demacia. At least one of many mysteries. And overall, I highly recommend people read this one. But if you are too lazy to read, that's why I'm here. So today we will go through the entire comic, and we will point out the important details and references which some of you may have missed. So, after a very long time, let's have a look at another one of League's comic books. This time, it is one about Katarina. The first scene of the comic begins in Stelkenmoor. At first sight, you may not even know where this place is because you can't even find it on the map. But as you'll see, there are some hints about this later on. More importantly, it begins with the entire city being on fire with the text, "Noxus has changed for the better." I wouldn't expect anything less. This scene happens 7 years after the fall of Darkwill, with Darkwill being the previous Grand General of Noxus, who became known for being mad and slaughtering everyone. Which means that this is happening after Swain returned from the invasion of Ionia and killed him using dark magic. That's why it is mentioning that Noxus is better now. It is no longer led by a tyrant. However, there still are some rogue warbands who believe in Darkwill's reign. So that's what's happening here. These guys don't believe in Swain's idea of expanding their empire by absorbing the surrounding nations. Instead, these warbands want to slaughter everyone, just like the good old days. And because these warbands walk under the Noxian banner, not only are they deserters, but they are also betrayers of the Empire. Which is why Katarina jumps in to get rid of them. First, she assassinates the entire warband, and then she takes out the general. And in the background you may have noticed the statue. Of course, this is the statue of Avarosa, which revealed that this city is in the Freljord, close to the borders with Noxus. Anyway, after the general gets taken down too, Katarina reveals that on the orders of the Grand General, his family and military records will be wiped out. So it would be as if he never lived. And then she walks away, leaving him to die. The story then cuts to the capital city of Noxus 2 weeks later. And this is where Katarina starts giving us her backstory. So let's quickly sum it all up, because it will help with the rest of the comic. Katarina's mother ignored her because she wasn't really a noblewoman material. Also, I believe that Katarina's mother was busy with the fact that Katarina's sister, the actual noblewoman material, was turned into a monster. Yes, don't forget that Cassiopeia is Katarina's sister. And Katarina's father never accepted her because he took in the orphan Talon and turned him into an excellent assassin instead. But that's also because after practicing with Katarina her entire life and actually turning her into a great assassin, he gave her her first target to eliminate, which was a lowborn Demacian who commanded an army. Katarina had a bit of an ego, and so instead of actually assassinating her target, she went after a higher value target, which backfired because with the general still alive, the army got back together and they walked on the Noxians, which resulted in heavy losses. So after that, Katarina's father couldn't really trust her anymore. And he also hired another assassin to kill her for her failure. Which failed, Katarina survived, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because her father hired Talon to kill her. But all he managed to do is to give her the scar she has across her eye, because he realized that he wasn't good enough to kill her, and they both just awkwardly walked away from each other. So of course, in the next scene of the comic, Katarina references this as Talon appears for the first time, and she calls him brother. Now, on one side, I want to say that she said this because her father adopted Talon into the Dukuto family. But at this point, Talon's lore is so old that they can actually just retcon him into Katarina's brother. I would be fine with it, but just know that Talon is supposed to be an orphan from the streets. Regardless, that info doesn't really matter. Next, the two talk about the fact that Katarina's father disappeared 3 years ago. This mysterious disappearance was actually part of the League of Legends lore for many years. I'm pretty sure it originally dates back to the original Journals of Justice about 9 years ago. And then, after the universe was rebooted, it was mentioned in Katarina's bio, but it was since wiped out. So it's great to see that they didn't actually retcon it. Anyway, Talon argues that by law, Katarina should now be the head of House Dooku Tall. But Katarina argues back that's not what her father probably would have wanted. After this, Katarina pretty much lets the readers catch up on all the core lore. She reveals that Darkwill was mad with power, and even though Swain killed him with dark power no Noxian had ever seen before, she believes that Swain is by far a better leader. Even though Talon isn't really convinced. At the end of this scene, Katarina leaves to do another assassination job for Swain, while Talon waits in the shadows for her return. In the next scene, yet again, Katarina reveals some core lore.
Really
This is where she reveals
everything
that
about the
her
comic
father
book.
hired Talon to kill her. I like how this comic gives you the core lore so that even
That's interesting. I got bored already. I wasn't here even here half of it.
Odysseus also faced mortal danger. He's finally returned home to find rivals are circling his palace and his wife.
Things
That is
have
wife.
reached a crisis point. After close on 20 years, Penelope is just worn down, and she announces that she's going to launch a contest. Whichever of the suitors can string Odysseus's bow and shoot it through a target, she will marry.
Odysseus is renowned for his skill with a bow and arrow. This is his moment.
Mm-hmm.
Two of Greece's finest archers have agreed to show me what it takes to master a lethal weapon. Ancient and modern.
Hi, I'm Bethany.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Theodore.
Theodore, yes.
Hi. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Christos, Bethany. So Theodore works with weapons and archery from previous times, from centuries ago, and Christos has got the absolute hyper-modern bow. So I'm really delighted to see that you've got this composite bow, because we hear in the Odyssey that Odysseus has a bow made with horn and sinew. And
Yes, this bow is made exactly the way 2,000 years ago would be made.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Nice.
What advantages has Christos got over you, though, with his modern? Because you've got a sight.
A lot.
I have a sight, I have a scope lens,
Yeah.
which is have zoom. This is stabilizers from the stabilization of the bow, and I have definitely more speed.
Let's see. So this is obviously, you know, they're serious bits of kit, this. So do you know how fast the arrows go?
I think it goes as fast as the bullet. About the same, yes.
Wow.
This is much slower,
Yes.
but still a war bow.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, you know, at the time of Odysseus, you hear of 6,000 arrowheads at a time being shipped out. So they are obviously, they're being used as killing machines.
Yes, lethal.
Lethal.
Totally.
Yeah. Are you up for this, guys, to see if who can hit the target fastest?
Definitely, I'm faster.
Are you? Game on. I'll stand a bit back, shall I?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Better for you.
Better. I think it's better. I think it's better as well.
The target this time is a terracotta pot. Whoever smashes through wins. Will the speed and firepower of the ancient bow beat the killer precision of the modern one?
The two at the same time? Oh no. Oh.
Straight in, like a bullet.
2-on-2. Yeah,
Look at that.
it's
So
made
this
to
is,
kill.
This is where Theodores have been hitting pretty much dead on centre, I have to say, but they haven't smashed the pot. But look at this. Christos's 2 of his arrows have gone right the way through and into the trunk of the olive tree. That is serious.
Damn.
Firepower.
That's a lot of power. I like to see things like that. Just for funsies. Learn more. Wait a second. It's changing.
Cerebro, cerebro, cerebro.
Oh shit.
Hi there, do you have a few minutes?
The fuck?
Ahí está.
Ajá.
¡Cógedlo! ¡Basta, hijo de puta!
Look, there's a pervert over there.
¡Mátalo! Allí están.
Sorry, bad traffic.
Ah shit. But so good. Hey, this is good too.
Long ago, the alien race called the Eridar lived on the planet of Argus. The 3 rulers were approached by the demon lord Sargeras, who promised them untold power and knowledge. They accepted his gift and were transformed into demons. All except for a small group called the Draenei, who fled with their leader Prophet Velen to a world called Draenor.
Exiles.
Now, Velen is having intense visions that perhaps the demons and his old allies who fell to darkness have found them once again.
Is there no end to your sanctimonious bluster, Velen? You claim the mantle of prophet, yet you always lacked the vision to see the inevitable destiny of our world. Of all worlds.
You lost faith in the light! Together, we could have resisted Sargeras and saved our world!
Did the light save your son? Was it faith that shone in Rakisha's eyes as they closed for the final time? Or was it hatred for the father who abandoned him? And now your impotent fury has drawn your allies to their doom.
No!
Damn. Lurking in the darkness.
For millennia, the Legion searched through the cosmos for the traitorous Draenei. When their spaceship crash landed on Draenor, waves of holy energy echoed through space and revealed their location to their demonic enemies.
Really that easy? That's so dumb.
Kil'jaeden and his underling Talgath were quick to react and studied the world of Draenor in secret. You know, sure, they could just summon a bunch of demons on the world and destroy everything, but Kil'jaeden's ultimate role in the Legion was to recruit and corrupt new races to join in their burning crusade. And as Kil'jaeden scanned the surface of Draenor, the Orcs seemed like the perfect candidate. They were superstitious, resilient, proud, strong, and a little bit stupid. In other words, you couldn't find a better race to be corrupted into the Legion. What was even better was Kil'jaeden could weaponize the Orcs and have them massacre the Draenei. It would be a slow, painful death for them, and when it was too late, they'd realize that their demise was the Legion's doing. But there was a problem. The Orcs were separated into a bunch of different clans, and if Kil'jaeden's plan was going to work, he'd have to unite them. His method of doing so was to have an agent of chaos do his bidding, and the name of one orc in particular echoed through Kil'jaeden's mind. Gul'dan, a crippled, vengeful orc who was banished from his village, held great promise. Gul'dan was infused with the unimaginable raw power of fell magic and became the first ever orcish warlock.
A vessel for my fury.
In exchange, he would be a servant of the Legion, whose ultimate mission was to make all others serve his Dark Lord.
Show Velen's mongrels the folly of resisting us. Let it end. Yes.
The videos of Platinum WoW is so good.
Gul'dan's first order of business with his newfound powers was to kill everyone in his village. Yes, he is just that evil. Okay, so next he needed to work with Kil'jaeden in order to unite the Orcs and kill the Draenei. And in order to do so, first, he'd have to throw the world in peril. The Warlock traveled to the Throne of Elements and corrupted the spirits of Draenor and threw them into disarray.
This wretched realm will be brought to its knees.
As the seasons passed, the entire world was plagued with natural disasters and disease. Arid droughts would suck the life out of the earth, only to be met with torrents of flash floods.
Just erasing it.
And entire swaths of jungle were covered in snow. The wretched disease known as red pox plagued Orcish settlements, and hundreds died in a matter of weeks. The symptoms of this disease was swelling red pustules growing on your body and vomiting blood.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, the inhabitants of Draenor were straight up just not having a good time right now. Next on Gul'dan's list of atrocities was to ally with an orc that could help lead and inspire the other orcs to rally against the Draenei. Gul'dan set out for the Shadowmoon clan, the shamanistic clan that a lot of other clans respected. Gul'dan appeared at the gates of their village, telling sob stories about how the ogres, oh my gosh, they just killed everyone in my clan. It was horrible. Oh my god, please help me. The orcs felt sympathy for the lone refugee and adopted him into the clan. Over time, Gul'dan would grow close to the chieftain Ner'zhul. Together, they shared their woes of the friends and family they had lost, and Ner'zhul confessed the grief in his heart he had for his mate, Rul Khan, who he had lost years ago. Gul'dan preyed on the chieftain's inner turmoil and won his trust and friendship. why would you trust some random orc with spikes growing out of his back?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I guess Ner'zhul was just a very vulnerable dude.
The Legion's grasp extends beyond this mortal coil. Your mind, so feeble.
Through Gul'dan, Kil'jaeden could warp and bend Ner'zhul's inner thoughts, which is something that would prove to be incredibly useful later in our story. The manipulation was yet another victory leading up to their master plan.
Damn.
Gul'dan's job was not done just yet.
Making the Lich King.
Fire now!
The Blade Wind.
Meanwhile, the Draenei had their own problems they were dealing with. In the lands of Talador, the Draenei had been dealing with a small clan of orcs that had been harassing them ever since the war they had with the ogres. This small group of orcs were called the Bladewind clan, who had been a thorn in their side for years at this point.
Didn't they get killed? Or
They'd
sacrificed
raid
something?
Draenei caravans and take captives, and generally just be really annoying.
We will fight another day!
But as Draenor's climate was thrown into peril, the Bladewind clan was hit the hardest. The combination of diminishing resources and the infectious disease of redpox
got hit
dealt
by the
a
redpox.
massive blow to their population. The Bladewind were a frustrated, doomed, and desperate people. And that made them vulnerable.
Prepare yourself. Our enemy's suffering shall soon commence.
Gul'dan appeared before the Bladewind clan, disguising himself as a Shadowmoon clan representative. He told the orcs that the world's elemental woes and redpox was actually the Draenei's doing, and the only way to restore balance was to spill their blood.
Our enemy thinks us conquered. Reveal their error.
The Bladewind were pretty much doomed at this point, so they really had nothing else to lose, and accepted Gul'dan's
Don't
word as
remember if
truth.
it was in
When we arrived
WoW
here,
1,
I lost
Warcraft
many
1.
jewels that had been in my family for generations. If you could get your hands on my family jewels, I would be deeply appreciative.
Help! Anybody!
There was no help.
It was an ambush.
Maradar's sister.
Exarch Akama, these attacks are just the beginning.
The Bladewind's heightened aggression did not go unnoticed by the Draenei. Clearly, something was going on here, and the Exarchs needed to take action.
I am required to provide a greeting.
I'm required to provide a greeting. Hello.
The Council of Exarchs met with Prophet Velen to discuss their next steps in their conflict with the Bladewind. Exarch Niele and the Rangari went on scouting missions to observe the Savage Clan, and what they found was truly horrifying. The Bladewind had resorted to performing sacrificial rituals on the kidnapped Draenei in hopes of appeasing the world's elements. The rituals were graphic, savage, but ultimately futile.
It is far worse than I feared. Do we have the strength to face such a foe?
Velen reflected on the visions he had. Perhaps the Bladewind's actions are motivated by the Legion, but there was no way of proving that. Besides, the visions Velen had of the Legion were not the undeniable truth. Like, he also had a vision where his old friend Archimonde was outside and was all like,
Come, dance with us, Velen. Feel the gyrations of the music flow through your body. I'm coming towards you. Ooh, come on, let's dance. Ah!
Yeah, his visions could get kind of weird. Anyways, Velen's solution to the ordeal was to remain a man of peace, and he simply decided to bolster the defenses of Draenei settlements because it would be the most passive way to defeat the Bladewind threat.
Then Marad.
With respect, I disagree. We must not underestimate them.
But not all agreed with Velen's ideals. Vindicator Marad, a paladin who served under Exarch Akama, refused to stand idle while he still had a chance to save his sister, Loran, who was kidnapped by the orcs. Reluctantly, Velen and the other Exarchs gave in to the Vindicator's plea, and an offensive strike force of Rengari and Vindicators were dispatched to the Bladewind village.
My favorite kind of music. Black rock and roll, of course.
The good hunters. They couldn't save his sister, if I remember. Spoilers. Oh. Oh.
I will deal with the beasts myself.
Yep. Every single one of them.
I will destroy you!
Because of the story that I like Marad. Except Marad. Come on.
Taste your own death.
This is the end of your race, Rally.
Light, grant me your vengeance.
Retribution, Paladin. Retribution. Not vengeance, is justice. Rally the
While
clan.
Gul'dan pulled the strings of his puppets, his master did the same, and Kil'jaeden the Deceiver appeared before the chieftain Ner'zhul to sway his opinion of the Draenei.
Yo, what's going on? It's me, your dead wife, Rulkan. Anyways, you know, Ner'zhul, I never told you this, but when I was alive, there was nothing more I hated than Draenei. Man, I just hate those dudes. They're the reason for all of this climate change and disease, and they're gonna kill you all, and you're gonna need to make a giant army. Just unite all of the clans that kill them in order to save Draenor. Look, it's very important. Now, I gotta go. I'm your wife, so hugs and kisses and all that, and I'll see you later.
I'm your wife, so hugs and kisses.
The tides of war encroach.
Yeah, he used
ready to meet
those guys.
With every single Bladewind clan member murdered, only Gul'dan's retelling of the events would be known to the other orcs. The manipulative warlock told the Shadowmoon clan that the Draenei, they just massacred the Bladewind clan totally unprovoked, and their bloodthirsty armies would hunt down the rest of the orcish clans next.
One guy killed
Ner'zhul was really in no position to refuse the advice from the spirits, and if Gul'dan spoke the truth, maybe the Bladewind's fall was only a precursor for the devastation to come. Actions to unite the clans needed to be made. Ner'zhul sent urgent summons for the rest of the clans to meet at Oshagun.
Negran.
Over a number of weeks, the various clans rallied together.
There's a Naru there.
Ner'zhul put forward the claims that the spirits told him that the orcs' very existence was in peril. Their only chance of survival was to unite under one banner and drive back this alien threat. The clans took the rest of the evening to consider Ner'zhul's words. Some clans, like the Frostwolves, were very wary on declaring war. Their chieftain Durotan had only had peaceful interactions with the Draenei. And what exactly would be the gain of killing the orcs? You know, they had never really shown any real aggression until now. But then again, questioning the spirits' words on the matter would be ridiculous. Surely they know what they were
Kill
talking about.
Jaden with the Rukan face.
Gul'dan was one of the first to openly support Ner'zhul's proposition to unite the clans. This would be a critical move in bringing the clans together because, you know, if some crippled old loser like Gul'dan wanted to fight and die for the clans, that meant any orc that didn't would be an honorless coward.
Thank you.
So at dawn, the orcs came together to come to a conclusion on the matter. Nearly every chieftain voted to unite the clans. The war horns were sounded, the orcs readied their blades, and from that day forward, they would be known as the Horde.
Nice. Where's volume 2 though? Rise of the Horde, but there's only one. Ah, cool. Cool. Rise. Yeah. Didn't do a volume 2. Nope. It did only a volume 1. Screw you then. Watching another one.
Previously on Draenei lore, Sargeras coerced a large majority of the Eredar into accepting his demonic power, and they all turned into demons except for a small group called the Draenei, led by Prophet Velen. The group of refugees got in a magical spaceship given to them by the Naru, and they escaped into the cosmos. They traveled in their spaceship until they found a world called Exile's Refuge, also known as Draenor. Where did the lights go? Hataru, please tell me you know how
Boy
to fix this.
detected.
The Draenei's arrival onto Draenor was anything but smooth. They had been traveling around the cosmos, visiting dozens of planets, and in that time, they started to run out of fuel. The Naru Kure, Dore, and Kara powered the ship, and Kara was completely drained of its power. When the Naru lose their power, they enter the void state of their life cycle, and its chaotic energies would only spell disaster for the other Naru and Draenei on the ship. So Velen, he did what he had to do, and he shot that bitch into space! Alright everyone, crisis averted, now we can...
Damn.
Pull up, pull up, pull up! The Draenei had quite the unfortunate arrival when they crash-landed on Draenor. On impact, one of the other Naru, Dore, was killed, as well as some of the other Draenei passengers. The Genedar was left a powerless husk of a ship, and the last living Naru, Kure, told the Draenei to leave the ship as fast as possible, because it too would eventually morph into the void state of its life cycle. And so, the Draenei set forth on this strange new land filled with wonder and mystery. But shooting that Naru out of the spaceship had sapped a lot of Velen's energy. The Prophet was known for his ability to see into the future, but without the Naru's help, it would be foolish for him to lead his people all by himself. Instead, Velen helped organize a group called the Council of Exarchs to help guide the different aspects of Draenei culture. First was the Rangari, scouts who would explore Draenor and relay information to the rest of their people, led by a Draenei named Naele. Next, the Artificers, engineers who built armor, weapons, and fortifications for their settlements. Their leader was Hataru, a brilliant crafter in his own right, who learned how to harness the power of Arcanite crystals. The Vindicators served as holy warriors of the Draenei, who stood at the front lines of combat, and were led by none other than a Kama. Lastly was the Shatari, led by a priest named Othar, and they, just prayed a lot and talked to dead people.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yep, these four pillars of Draenei society led their people deep into Draenor and built a foothold and planned their next steps in securing a bright future for the nomadic race.
Pretty cool. I like this banner. I like the Vindicators.
The first glorious city built by the Draenei was called Shattrath City, also known as Dwelling of Light. The Draenei capital became the heart of the race's culture and religion. But how did they build this giant city in 5 years? I don't know. Velen probably had creative mode on or something, but that's off topic. The next thing they built was the Temple of Auchindoun, and they took the body of the Naru Dore and put it inside, and the Draenei souls who were attracted to it populated the city. You're probably wondering, what did the orcs think of these extraterrestrial alien goat people that landed on their planet? Well, to be honest, for the first 100 years or so, they didn't really bother each other. The two races maybe did some trading of resources between each other, but for the most part, they really just kept to themselves. Besides, the orcs were busy doing orc things, like running around in the jungle, making snowmen, fighting ogres for hundreds of years, and worshipping the stars. And speaking of worshipping the stars...
Pepe!
The Shadowmoon clan were a clan that dabbled in void magic, and were probably the most superstitious and shamanistic clan in all of Draenor, especially when it came to the stars. Remember how Velen shot that Naru in the space? Well, the Shadowmoon orcs tried to tap into the power of the Dark Naru Kara, who now floated above the valley.
Yes, the perfect sacrifice! Ancestors of the Shadow Moon, shine in the darkness! Lend me your strength!
Damn.
Kara's power was extremely overwhelming and totally murdered the curious orcs or drove them insane. They called the anomaly in the sky the Dark Star, and it became something they greatly feared, and the chieftain forbade anyone from tapping into its dark power, or they would be excommunicated from the Shadowmoon clan.
Fall back or die!
That's true, Pepe was introduced in Draenor.
Let's see, what else did the Draenei accidentally do? Oh, well, because a giant magical spaceship drove headfirst into the Earth, its powerful energies of light, void, and arcane magic sent the Primals and the Breakers on Draenor into a frenzy. The Draenei tried to correct their wrongdoings and quell these elements, but they cannot save all of the natives from the elements' wrath. So the Draenei's influence continued to spread, and they established multiple settlements across the magical ley lines of Draenor. The most prominent of these settlements was the Temple of Karabor, and over time, the Draenei brought the elements back into their equal balance. But more importantly, the Draenei learned how to ride Elecs, which are basically just elephants, but cooler because they have horns. This is a common trope for a lot of creatures in WoW. It's like, oh, you want to have a crocodile mob? Well, you know, this is a fantasy game, so we gotta make it unique. So, just put 2 more legs on that crocodile, and then boom! Now you got a crocolisk. While all that was going on, back in the Grand, a peculiar thing was happening with their crashed ship. But before we talk about that, here is a quick word from today.
Excuse me for the interruption, but I have ripped you through time and space so that we may conduct a mutually beneficial transaction. Introducing Yeti X, World of Warcraft Edition.
No, really?
Excellent quality and a
By saying, oh yeah, there is a weird thing happening with their crashed ship. The husk of the Genadar started to attract orcish souls who were drawn by its holy energies that lingered within the ship. These light-imbued orcish spirits were granted with sage wisdom, and it was often shamans would travel to the ship so they could be enlightened with advice from their ancestors. They renamed the ship to Ashugun, and it became a place of large cultural significance for the orcs. This deeply troubled the Draenei because here's the thing, the last remaining Naru, Kure, was still alive and morphing into its void state deep within the ship. What was going to happen if it grew stronger? What effect would it have on the orcs? Can the Draenei really do anything about it? No, not really. Getting between an orc and his dead grandpa who tells him good advice like,
hide in bush with axe, wait for ogre, kill ogre, give ogre head to pretty orc, orc become wife, have tiny orc baby, live happy life. Yes, good advice.
Like, if the Draenei tried to get into the middle of that, surely the orcs would get violent with them. Instead, the Draenei kind of just decided to not to do anything, and if something bad happened to the orcs,
it would be their problem. And that was kind of the strategy the Draenei had with pretty much any potential foe on Draenor. Just don't get in their way and try and remain as peaceful as possible. But sometimes warfare was inevitable. Okay, so the Draenei kind of made a mistake. So apparently they built Shatrath City on top of the ruins of an old ogre city called Goria. And the ogres were furious about this.
Oh shit.
Did these weak, little blue monsters really think they could just waltz right onto Draenor and build a city on their once
That's why it was
capital?
easy to make.
The Gorian Empire will not be overthrown by these peasants!
The leader of the Gorian Empire was an ogre named Imperator Hawklon, who accused the Draenei of being usurpers, who stole the knowledge and power of the arcane from the ogres. Besides, how could the Draenei make such a technologically advanced city? Clearly, something was up. Imperator Hawklon declared that he would seize control of the ogres' ancient lands once again and bring the Gorian Empire into a golden age. The High Mall aristocrats threw their support for the Imperator's ambitious goals. And an ogre army that outnumbered the Draenei was formed and marched towards the gates of Shatrath City.
Damn. Damn.
The Draenei were not a race that enjoyed violence. In fact, Velen did everything in his power to stay passive and work through his problems peacefully. But if the ogres wanted war, they'd have to stand their ground.
Seize this opportunity to die gloriously, for your names will be carved into history. Let the battle begin!
If I remember, the Draenei kicked their asses. It's the light. The light destroyed them. Even with the arcane magic.
The war that the ogres declared on the Draenei was over in a single battle. The Gorian Empire's ruler was defeated, and the army was left in disarray. From the top of the city's ramparts, Velen appeared with outstretched arms and said, "GG easy, get rolled, kid. Imagine thinking you could kill us, LMAO bronze player trash." Okay, well, he didn't say that. He said, "Go home, and you will not be harmed." So instead of wiping out the Empire right then and there, they decided to let them flee back to their city and pick up the pieces of the Gorian Empire. This whole event blew the orcs' mind. These blue aliens they considered to be a passing oddity just defeated the ogres in a single battle, and the orcs, they have been in conflict with these guys for like almost all of orcish history. No longer were the Draenei just some anomalies. They were now a threat. Every year, the orcs had an event called the Kosharg Festival by Oshugun, and at that year's festival, it was filled with unease. Some clans wanted to avoid all contact with the Draenei, while others thought showing mercy to the ogres was a sign of the Draenei's weakness. The clans never did come to a conclusion on the matter. At the end of the day, the Draenei never retaliated against them, so there is no real reason to lock themselves in conflict just yet.
Uncle Dan, though.
But back in Shattrath City, something deeply troubled Prophet Velen. Again and again, his mind was invaded by dark visions. He could not fully trust his ability to see into the future, but what he saw truly shook him to his core. On multiple occasions, he envisioned the world of Draenor being consumed by darkness. A large, overwhelming army of orcs marched in unison, bringing only death and destruction in their wake. Deep within Velen's soul, he feared the worst. The Legion was coming. The Eredar are the oldest race in the Warcraft universe. They are pretty much immortal, extremely technologically advanced, and magically gifted. They were perfect, except for one catastrophic flaw. An insatiable greed for power. And this greed led them down a dark path and ultimately doomed not only their race, but the entire Warcraft universe into an intergalactic war. I'll explain how that happened, just let me set the scene first. Long ago, the Eredar lived on the planet of Argus.
We're going back
they
in
were
time
an
every time.
extremely technologically
Going
advanced
backwards.
race which used the powers of the arcane and light to develop their society. Among the Eredar, art, science, magic, and technology all work together in a symbiotic relationship. Above all else, intelligence and discovery was the crux of the Eredar society. The leaders of the knowledge-seeking race were Kil'jaeden and Velen. Both of them ruled the Eredar alongside each other in an alliance called the Second Duumvirate. These two had the biggest bromance in all of Warcraft, as they had the ability to telepathically communicate with each other. Kil'jaeden was known for his intelligence, while Velen was the spiritual leader of the Eredar, who had the ability to see into the future. Long ago, a strange curse started to spread across Argus, which diminished the Eredar's memories. The Eredar prided themselves on their intelligence, so there was no curse as devastating as this. Some suggested quarantining these cursed citizens, or even banishing them. But Velen refused to turn his back on his people. With an artifact called Ture, which conveniently fell from the sky sometime prior, Velen called upon its ancient Naru powers to cure his people of this great ailment. You, what is 9 plus 10? 21? Incorrect. May the Naru bless you. The Naru that granted him this artifact are benevolent beings made of pure light that had chosen the Eredar and bestowed them with great artifacts to enhance their magical capabilities. But for some, this power was not enough. An Eredar sorcerer called Thal'kiel led an order called the Wakeners. These highly sophisticated magi are the ones responsible for empowering arcane constructs around Argus, among other forms of conjuration. But this power was not enough to satisfy Thal'kiel's hunger. The sorcerer searched through the great dark beyond for an even greater power. In his pursuit, he was able to hone in on the power of fell magic and learn to summon demonic creatures from the Twisting Nether. In hopes of ushering in a new, glorious age for the Eredar, Thal'kiel displayed his newfound powers to the leaders of Argus.
Here's a small taste of my fell magic.
Velen denounced Thalkil's dangerous experiments with such violent powers and forbade him from ever using such magics again. Of course, Thalkil did not do that.
No.
No longer did the sorcerer control the powers of Vel. Now, the addictive powers controlled him. For weeks, Thalkil went mad within his study. The Eredar did not sleep nor eat, and only focused on his pursuit of summoning hordes of demons onto the planet of Argus. Thalkil recruited the help of his fellow Awakeners so that he could assert himself as the new ruler of Argus. Most of, if not all, of his followers assisted in their master's pursuit. All except one. Archimonde was one of Thalkil's acolytes, and revealed his dubious plans of demonic takeover to Velen and Kil'jaeden, and promised to put an end to his master's dangerous pursuit. The Magi's betrayal would be a surprising one, as he was one of Thalkil's brightest pupils. The night before the planned demonic takeover, Archimonde led a small group of Magi and put a stop to his master before it was too late.
Hello, are you ready for demonic takeover? Hello, Archimonde?
I eagerly await your agonized screams! The Legion's will be done!
Archimonde was an arcane mage? I don't know.
Nothing you have done here matters, mortal. We are infinite. We are Legion.
Thalkil's call.
Archimonde was a champion of his people for the evil he had destroyed, and
Of
Kil'jaeden
course.
and Velen developed a
The
deep
warlock
respect for
artifact.
his selflessness. They had so
Thalkil.
much respect that
I love that
Archimonde
skull.
eventually led the Eredar alongside them in an alliance called the Triumvirate. The trio led the Eredar in a practically flawless manner. Kil'jaeden was known for his brilliant genius, Velen his immense wisdom and compassion, and finally, Archimonde and his unwavering drive for greatness. The Awakeners were taken over by a new leader called High Awakener Argon, who delved into the mystery of soul binding and learned how to imbue ancient Eredar souls into mechanical constructs. And it's like, look, dude, if you can turn my grandpa into a giant robot, that's badass. Just don't go summoning demons again, thank you. But meanwhile, Archimonde plotted devilishly in secret. You see, Archimonde did not kill his master because he hated demons. In fact, he was quite fond of the power of fell magic and craved such immense power for himself. Archimonde had his master's skull displayed in his domicile, letting it be a warning for all who would dare follow in Thalkil's footsteps. In truth, he used the power of his master's skull as a conduit to gain an even greater understanding of fell magic. As the Eredar slept, he would have vivid dreams of entire civilizations being brought to their knees by a glorious army and whispers from a dark god of unimaginable strength.
Behold the power of the Legion.
The Dark Titans deal.
Years passed, and deep within the cosmos, the Dark Titan Sargeras controlled the powerful might of his demonic forces. The problem was, all of these demons were very stupid and lacked the ability to lead themselves, and Sargeras could not direct all of his entire army at once. This is what led Sargeras in having a great interest in the highly intelligent race of the Eredar, who could be used as generals to lead the Legion in their burning crusade. But in order to convince them, he could not do it by force. Instead, he focused on deception and appeared to the Triumvirate in the form of a radiant, elegant being promising unimaginable power.
Swear loyalty to me. Pledge the hearts of your people to my cause.
Say no more, mysterious god. I pledge myself to you. Oh, you're not done speaking yet? Okay.
I will transform you, granting you knowledge beyond imagining and might beyond measure. Together we will become legion and defeat the hungering void that would consume us all.
The answer is obvious. We don't question anything that random god just said and pledge our loyalty. What do you say?
It is little enough to ask for what he offers us.
I had hoped the others would sense the darkness behind Sargeras' words, but they were blinded by their vanity, their hunger for power. The Atamal crystal soon showed me the horrible truth of what would come to pass if we accepted the Titan's offer. We would be transformed, not into wise leaders, but into hateful monsters.
The Atamal crystal was an ancient relic that Naru gave the Eridar a long time ago, and told Velen of the horrors to come if the Eridar accepted Sargeras' gift. Velen tried to warn the others of this obvious trap they were walking into, but they didn't really care. They just wanted to be powerful. The Naru Kore told Velen, "Yo, dude, you need to get the fuck out of here." And that he needed to gather as many followers as possible, and the Naru would help them escape. So, Velen rallied his people that only consisted of Eridar in the hundreds, only hundreds, on the entire planet of Argus. The rest of the Eridar either willingly accepted the power of Fel, or the power was just forced upon them. One of the Eridar that accepted Sargeras' power was a sorcerer named Talgath. Talgath was a close friend of Velen, who was supposed to help rescue the Prophet's family. Instead, Talgath betrayed him and transformed Velen's son into a weapon of the Legion. So with a heavy heart, Velen and his people quickly gathered to flee the world of Argus, which now fell into the hands of corruption.
I will hunt you across the stars, traitor! Even if it takes 1,000 years!
The refugees flew away on a Naru spaceship called the Genedar. The Atamal crystal that Velen had was destroyed and turned into... Look, I can't even make this sound cool. They turned into the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic. No, I'm not kidding. The Atamal crystal blew up into 7 crystals, all different colors of the rainbow, and they're extremely powerful.
Where's that damn 4th Chaos Emerald?
The fleeing Eridar renamed themselves into the Draenei, which means the exiled ones in their own tongue. Their corrupted kin back on Argus were called the Minari Eridar. The word Minari means something horrifically wrong, something twisted and unnatural and defiled. For an undisclosed amount of time, the Genedar flew through the cosmos, visiting dozens of planets.
No, the real name of the species are the Eridar.
At some point in time, the Genedar split into 2 different ships. One continued to be called the Genedar, and the other was the Xenedar. The Draenei on the Xenedar are the Draenei who would eventually become the Lightforged Draenei, who are just Draenei, but cooler and imbued with the powers of the light. I would go into more detail about their lore, but really it's just, they fight demons, the end. Kil'jaeden and Archimonde were transformed into the most powerful generals in all of the Legion. Archimonde was tasked with being Sargeras' military commander, and by his will, numerous worlds fell to the might of the Legion. The Overlord still used the power of his previous master's skull as an incredibly effective weapon against his enemies. Kil'jaeden was tasked with seeking out other races within the Great Dark Beyond to corrupt. The most notable victims he recruited into the Legion were the vampiric race of the Nathrezim and the mighty Pit Lords. Another way the Legion was able to bolster their ranks
we know now
is through
they came
demonic
from
warfare with
Shadowlands.
Eridar.
Make
This
no
includes
sense.
creatures like Wrathguards, Eridar Brutes, Doom Maidens, the most horrific creature of all, the Urzul, which were created by combining multiple tormented bodies and souls of the Eridar into these warped, hellish creatures. Argus was transformed into a barren, fel-infused wasteland, and Sargeras ordered the construction of a Temple of Darkness built into the planet's core, and the world would serve as the army's base of operations in their burning crusade to destroy all life in the universe. With the Minari Eridar corrupted and driving the overwhelming might of the Legion, they became an unstoppable force in the Warcraft universe, and a good majority of all of the bad stuff that happens in the universe afterwards leads back to them. Corrupting the Orcs and destroying Draenor?
Them.
Legion's fault. The sundering of the world? The Legion's fault. The creation of the Lich King? Legion's fault. The destruction of the World Tree? Legion's fault. Bots in Classic WoW? Legion's fault. The ad in this video right now? Legion's fault. The giant sword in Azeroth? Well, that happened after the Legion was defeated, but still, Legion's fault. And yes, the Legion was eventually defeated in the Legion expansion, but their catastrophic events on the universe still have effects on Azeroth to this day, and who's to say they won't return again? And do you know who we have to blame for all this? The Eridar. You know, if they just chilled out for a second and considered the consequences of accepting Sargeras' gift and listened to what Velen had to say, we would not be in this mess. So thanks, guys. No, but seriously, thank you, because the Legion is one of the coolest things in World of Warcraft, and I'm gonna join them. In Sargeras' name, I pledge my soul to you. Also, like and subscribe. I'm flying away.
I'm flying away. On that note, I'm gonna fly away too. It's been a good night. We took 1 hour or two, like I said. And yeah. Have a good night, Twitch. Thank you so much for the people who came back.
So easily
We watched only videos. We didn't do much. So my name was Instelias Meltiak. If you like what you saw, don't forget to do a follow. And of course, you can always sub so you can miss those. You don't get touched by the ads. Have a good one, Twitch. Bye.